Good morning. We are here at Napton Music Notes, and usually we do our ukulele circle, but because of everything going on, we've been doing it outside.
It's a little cold for that
some
now,
of you,
though.
Yeah, so we figured the coldness wouldn't work well. So we're going to just do a live stream today for you, and go over some of these things that we usually do in Uke Circle. So I hope you're tuning in. If you have any questions, you certainly can comment, and our wonderful videographer will relay the questions onto us that we can hopefully answer for you. So please feel free to ask any questions you want. Usually I talk way too much and Robin doesn't talk enough.
I mean, you're good at it. It's fine.
Had long practice. So usually, we keep our ukulele circle events themed, and since this is the month of Thanksgiving, we are going to do songs related to Thanksgiving, all 4 of them. You'd have no idea how many ukulele songs, or how many songs for Thanksgiving. There's only a few out there.
There's
so
not many.
We'll get to that. We've adapted and changed. Let's see. Do we want to talk first about your basic ukulele stuff?
Well, yeah. I mean, we should go over like the tuning, how to tune it, and everything.
This is a ukulele. That is a ukulele.
This is also a ukulele.
Right, and they have 4 strings. The basic idea is there's a body, there's a neck, there's a headstock with the tuning mechanisms, and then down here you've got these silver bars which represent, they are called fret bars, and the spaces in between are called frets, okay? So when it comes to playing the ukulele, obviously we all want to strum along and sing a song, and so it all becomes about where do I put a finger pressing down on a string to create a chord. And a chord is a combination of strings played together at the same time. Now, until recently, I had a hard time discovering any song with 1 chord, which I did, but that's another story. So most of the time you're going to have 2 or 3 chords, and then you have to learn how to switch efficiently from one to another while continuing to strum, as Robin so graciously demonstrated. So, what's that standard tuning we do?
Good Charlie eats apples.
G, C, E, and A, right? And that's with your ukulele in its proper position going down. You start at the top, G, C, E, A. Now the thing about ukulele, what they call chord charts, in other words, a diagram to show you where to put your fingers to play certain chords. The funny thing is, we play our ukulele like this, the diagrams are drawn as if it's up in the air.
So you gotta kind of like read it and then, visualize it sideways.
I'm just going to give a couple examples here, especially of the things we're going to use today. So, once again, this is going to G, C, E, and A. There's your strings in that order. And then I'm going to draw a dot on that bottom string in the 3rd fret. And if you look at Robin, she'll show you that you're going to press down with that. Now sometimes you're going to see a number by these, okay? And like quite often in this case, you're going to see a number 3. Now what does that represent, you may ask? And there's my bad drawing of a hand. And, oh yeah, T for thumb. He doesn't really do anything often.
Holds on to the back of the neck.
Yes.
So
what they do is they sort of number your fingers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's telling me I should use number 3 finger. Now the cool thing about this is if you use your 2nd finger there, hey, you're still playing that chord. If you use your first, etc., etc. Now the reason they sometimes do this is because when you switch from one chord to another, it is easier to switch from one chord to another sometimes if you choose a certain finger to play that chord as opposed to another one. And we'll get to that in a minute. Now this guy right here, when you see this, let's get rid of these guys. Ooh, that's sweet. Is what they call a C chord, okay? I'm going to draw a couple more up here real quick. That would be finger 1 and finger 2. Boy, glad I got long arms. And that is the G chord, which is 1. Oh God, 1. Told you this marker was a troublemaker. 2 and 3. So that's C, F, and G. Pretty common chords. And if you can conquer playing these,
pretty far.
there will be a lot of songs you can play. Now, back to the whole, why did I choose to use the third finger, or why is it suggested? So you can see that I'm using my third finger to play this C chord. Now, if I'm going to go from a C chord to an F chord, all of a sudden, my first and second fingers are just hanging up in the air here, waiting to do something. So I can take those, put those right on the first fret and the second fret of these strings to get to my F chord.
That'd be first fret of the E string and second fret of the G.
Right? And now if I want to go back to C, these guys come off at the same time that one comes back down. So that's why it's sometimes suggested finger movement. Now going from that C to a G, all I have to do is take that third finger, move it over one string, and drop the other 2 right above it. Right here, 1 and 2, and get that 3 in there. So, because when if you're playing, and you're playing fast, that's how it is. Now, nothing is going to replace practice. So, I mean, when I teach students, and I'm sure Robin would probably agree with this, is like, you know, when you first start, you just got to sit there and practice switching from one chord to another and doing it while you're in the middle, not losing the rhythm of that strumming pattern.
Keep it steady.
Yep.
And you can start out slower than that too. Like,
yes.
sometimes you gotta go like painfully slow, but over time you can build up the speed as the muscle memory sets in.
And I tell my students this well too, you know, you're going to spend a lot of time in the beginning staring at your fingers at that fretboard and like, is this the right place? Is this the right place? Yeah, there it is. But obviously the goal is to free yourself from actually having to look and be able to just nice and smooth do that. So, there.
Yes.
That's good. Have we got any questions from our viewers yet?
Not yet.
Not any questions about why am I wearing a stupid hat? Okay. Because that's what I do.
Well, I can't have a Halloween costume, so.
Well, that was last month. And those pictures are available on our Facebook site. So, when it comes to Thanksgiving stuff, one of the most misunderstood ideas of all time is a very famous song that was written. Oh, we got an extra chord in there, though. Oh, we got more than that. A couple extra chords in there.
Yeah.
Was a song that was written for Thanksgiving that is no longer associated as a Thanksgiving song.
You got a thumbs up on the hat, Ed.
Oh,
Awesome.
thumbs up on the hat. Okay, great. Well, fine. Back to what I was saying. One of the most misunderstood, well, it's not misunderstood, it is a beloved song.
It is.
Everybody knows this song. But it was originally written for Thanksgiving, and if you really do listen to the words, it's like, okay, there's no Christmas reference in here. I see.
Yeah. Wasn't it like written for Thanksgiving and then it became so popular, like it was written for a church, and then they used it the next month's service too because everybody loved it so much, and that's how it became associated with Christmas.
Right. And of course, the closeness of the two holidays.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, there's something. Fiber inside my mask. The tragedies of mask wearing. So, this famous song, you're like, oh, please tell us, what is this famous song that you reference so much? And the song is?
Jingle Bells.
Isn't that strange? We all think Jingle Bells is Christmas, but
Yeah.
you know, dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, or the fields we go, laughing all the way, you know, that they were just on the way to a holiday celebration on a sleigh ride. It had nothing to do with Christmas, so that's why we bring it up. So it's a good place to start. Fairly easy song to play. We do have a couple of other chords to look at though before we play it.
And the nice thing about it too, being so familiar, is that it's easy to kind of feel the rhythm. So you can really focus on getting those chords right, and you know how it's supposed to sound. So you know, like, oh, if I hit the wrong chord, that doesn't sound quite right. So maybe you would instinctually go back and double check. It's a great one to start off with.
Now you can see up here I had the single letters, C, F, and G. Now down here I've got D, 7, and A, M.
What's the M stand
as
for?
opposed to FM. Oh, there actually is an FM too. No, usually in music when they identify a chord, an M will refer to it being a minor chord, okay? And a 7 would be a 7th chord. And we could talk at length about music theory of what makes a 7, but suffice it to say, all people, most people, I should never say all, because you never know. There's exceptions like me and everything. Most people just want to be able to play, and the great thing about ukulele is you can sit down and break it down to simple math, right? I've got 4 fingers, I got 4 strings, I'm pressing down, and I'm counting frets, starting at the headstock, going down 1, 2, 3, etc. So it's really just, if you can count to 4, and you can get these sort of shapes and positions in your head, you're well on your way to playing ukulele nice and quick, okay? So, with Jingle Bells, I know if you have been here before, usually we print out a nice little sheet, and what it does is it has those chord charts right at the top for you. I don't know if I can get zoomed in on that, but then we print out the words, and then above the words we put the chords that you play at any given moment in relation to the words that you are singing at that time, okay? And then in parentheses, which I left my glasses up front too, oh well. But you will see numbers, and the numbers are a basic representation of the simplest way to play this by strumming straight down. 1, 2, and the first 6. One is G for 6.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Mm-hmm.
Then you switch to the next chord.
To C for 2.
1, 2.
And then I can't see anymore. A minor 2.
A minor 2. 1, 2. D7 4.
4, yep.
2, 3.
And back to G for 2. Okay, so if that gives you an idea, hopefully you're following along here best you can.
And we do have digital copies of the music that we normally hand out, so if you would like a copy, just let us know.
Yeah, you're free to stop into the store and we'll print one right out for you of any of these. So now we gotta sing.
Yeah, we do.
Feel free to sing at home to yourself.
Yes.
I do it all the time until somebody yells at me. Hey, quiet down in there.
Alright.
So,
Hear me in.
G?
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, I don't remember the starting note.
That one? You mean that? Singing wise?
Yeah.
Da, the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way.
Ha ha ha.
Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Okay.
Woo! So, should we break it down and talk about like the chord progression and run through that?
Right, now, that G chord, you know, where we started, and then I'm going to transition to my C, so those guys come off, this guy moves over, nice and easy move. The nice thing about that A minor, we've got one finger is all we got to get to, so I'm at my C chord, I can just drop down to that A minor right over there. Nice sort of transition and just sort of bounce those fingers. Okay, so the A minor to the D7, well, looky here. They use this same note on that top string, and all you got to do is drop in the second finger right there. That's a nice, easy move again. I like things when they're easy like that, yeah.
When you're playing a song, they're wondering if you can call out the chords.
Yes.
Aha! We will go through and do that the next time.
We'll go a little slower too.
And slower, yes. So, okay. Yeah. And again, you know, it's just about trying to make those moves nice and simple.
And, you know, at first, if you need to, you can always just hit each chord one time and then wait until you go to change to the next one. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh.
Right.
That'll give you more time to get your fingers going back and forth.
Mm-hmm. So again, those are suggestions, and again, like Robin said, the familiarity of a song makes it so much easier. If you don't know a song, it's like, okay, how do
You're not
I?
really sure how it's supposed to
But I
sound,
mean-
and so it's a little harder
Whoops.
to execute, I suppose.
See, eventually you can do combinations. There are different patterns of strumming between up and down.
And that gives it a different feeling, a different, you know, kind of rhythm.
You can also
slower and softer, or louder and more upbeat and faster.
right. You can also bring it down slow and arpeggiate the strings, which is individually picking each string. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh.
I'm not sure what that
I'm not sure what I'm doing either, but it sounds pretty-ish that way.
It does, yeah. And that's
What
kind of
was
the
I
cool thing, is
doing?
you can just kind of, if you're holding a chord, you can just pick them in whatever pattern and experiment. And it, you know, it'll still sound cool as long as you're holding that chord.
I was trying to figure out what it was I was doing. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. What I do know is that it, like Robin was alluding to, is that the feeling of a song, you know, and you can change the feeling of a song by changing your technique. Either you're playing loud and rowdy, or, you know, nice and soft, and it's still the same song.
Exactly.
Okay, so let us try, what? You have something?
No, I was going to say, yeah, let's...
Try and do it nice and slow, and one of us will say, G!
You want me to call them out?
Sure.
Okay.
Robin is our square dance caller.
Yes.
Is that what they call the people in the square dance that call it out?
Do they have like a specific name, or is it just caller?
The caller, I think,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
I'll go with that.
counter. The kitchen counter. Okay.
1, 2, here we go.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. For the fields we
Oh, that was A minor, D7.
go,
Sorry. G.
laughing all the
G.
way. That's better.
G.
Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits
C.
bright. What
minor.
fun it is to
G.
ride and sing a sleigh
D7.
song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
C.
Oh, what fun it is to ride in a
A minor.
one-horse open
D7.
sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
C.
Oh, what fun it
G.
is to ride in a
D7.
one-horse open sleigh.
Sorry about that. I forgot that C was so short.
And I dragged out the end. And again, you know, all of these things, it's a player's choice for
Yeah.
performance stuff. You know, how do you want this to sound? So
Put your own spin on it.
that's right. It's a famous thing to do is play other people's songs.
Your own way.
Yep.
Exactly.
So,
Especially with like these holiday songs, because like especially with Christmas songs in particular, you hear like millions of different artists do their own interpretation of the same songs, and each one is a little bit different. So it's pretty cool.
sometimes the second person to do it makes it better.
That's true.
But again, when it comes to music, like all things in life, we can all argue about the facts.
True.
No, I like their version better. Well, he wrote it, so that's better. So, you know.
Teach their own.
And I'm not even sure who wrote Jingle Bells. We looked that up once. It's
We did look it
like
up
some
Like I said, I thought it was a guy that wrote it for his church
right.
for Thanksgiving, and everybody liked it so much that
Right,
they
that
used
sounds
it at Christmas.
right. You know, one thing we didn't talk about is basic technique.
Oh yeah, yeah, we should talk about that.
Yes, you should.
Well, okay, so when it comes to chords, you want to make sure that you're playing with your fingers on their very, very tips. That way you don't mute the other strings. So like, for example, here's my G. So you can see like my chipped off nail polish, but that's okay. So you can see how I've got my fingers curled. And the pads of my fingers are not touching any of the other strings. So I'm only touching the strings that I'm trying to press down with each finger. If I didn't do that, and I did something more like this, it doesn't quite sound right. So you want to be able to hear each individual note of the chord. So a lot of times what I'll recommend my students do is make their chord. Here, switch to F, and play one string at a time. To make sure you can hear every single note. Do you have any strumming technique for us?
No. Well, you know, and again, but yes, I always say, you know, remember the claw.
The claw.
Because you want to be up on, you want to get those fingers to
Like a
make
tunnel.
that nice little shape there so that you're really coming down. And for somebody like me with really big hands to play a little tiny ukulele, if I can do it, most of you should be able to do it too.
Yeah. And if your fingers are tinier, you want your thumb a little bit lower down on the neck, not like all the way up here like Mr. Ed, because it's a small instrument. But if your hands are smaller, like mine, a lot of times my thumb comes down a little bit further on the back, like that. So that's what it looks like to me on my side. And it really depends on the chord too. Sometimes your thumb moves around a little bit, but
My thumb is,
oh yeah, there you go. Because you're doing a bar chord though. Different techniques. You know, you've got open chords like this one, like your G and your C. Easier to kind of bring your thumb up a little higher. When you're playing a chord that requires a little bit more of your fingers, thumb comes down a little bit lower. It gives you more space to move your fingers, I suppose.
Now you were asking about strumming technique, right?
Yeah.
And again, this is a player choice, a preference kind of decision. Besides the fact that you can go up and down in combinations, right? The other thing too is like, what kind of sound do I want to produce? Now, generally, when you strum, you want to strum right over the sound hole of the instrument, because that takes the sound down in, rolls around, and comes back out, giving it its greatest thing. Now, you can use the soft, fleshy part of your thumb for a nice, soft thing, nice, soft tone. But sometimes what I do is I sort of pinch my two fingers together like this, and I use my fingernail. Gives a little bit bolder, brighter sound. So that's always an option too. Now, when it comes to, some people are like, well, I could just use my guitar pick on it. And you can, it's just not good for it, because the plastic guitar pick and the plastic strings, it will eventually wear down
The strings.
both of them actually,
Both
the pick
of them.
and the strings, and you can break a string.
Because the plastic picks for guitar are made for steel strings.
Mm-hmm. Right. And they do sell, we do have those here, we do sell felt picks
Yes.
that are made for ukulele that are...
It's a softer material, so it's not going to wear down on the strings.
So, I think we've done a heck of a lot of talking.
We have.
So,
Next.
my jaw hurts. I'm just kidding.
Actually, I have a couple questions.
Oh, we have questions.
We have questions. You were tuning, before we started, you were tuning the ukes.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously there is a device for that, but are there any apps that are good for tuning?
Apps are kind of, it depends. They work using a microphone. So if you're in a crowded room or like, playing around a bunch of other people, if you're at a jam session, something like that, it's going to be hard to tune with it because it's going to be picking up all of the noise surrounding you. So a lot of the time what we use is what Mr. Ed's got here.
Which is called a snark tuner. It is a digital tuner that picks up the vibrations of the strings.
Yeah.
All sound is nothing more than vibrating air. And basically what this is doing is it picks up the vibration of the sound being made that's actually reverberating through the wood of the body. And so what I do is I hit that string and it has a dial and it actually tells me that is a G note. And if it's on the red side, it is a flat. In other words, it's not exactly, if I go turn it down a little bit. Oh, look, I'm too low, and I turn my tuning mechanism just a little bit till it gets to that magic greenish blue spot. And then I am in a perfect G tune. And there's my C and E. Oh,
E's a little sharp.
Oh, don't be picking on my E. And then my A. And these are very accurate. We sell them in the store, very popular. They go for about $15, $16.
Mm-hmm.
So more accurate than an app.
Oh yeah, more accurate.
But the apps do work if you're in a quiet room. I've used them here and there, yeah, they work.
They're hit and miss. Some of my students have them, and I'm like, okay, and then we throw one of these on there, and they see that they're off still by this much. Now, in the beginning, the trained ear, unless you have a trained ear for music, you're not going to notice that off by a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But the more you play, the more you'll notice how being in that perfect pitch actually makes a difference when you're playing. Did you say there were other questions?
There's one other question right now. That is an awfully sweet uke, Robin. What brand is that?
Good question. So this is a flight ukulele. These are relatively new, and this one's actually a travel. So it's got kind of like the ovation style, kind of, what's that called?
Turtleback.
Turtleback, and then the plastic neck with a wood top. So it still has an awesome sound, but it's more durable. And this one specifically, I think, is an artist design.
Elise.
at least
Eklund.
Eklund,
Yeah.
yes, at least Eklund. Beautiful sunset, and it comes with a gig bag.
Great gift.
So this one is available for sale here if you're interested.
And there's a whole bunch of them,
And there's a
very
whole bunch of
similar with different designs.
Mhm.
You know, so,
Like different geometric designs, and there's one with like a surfer on it with waves.
and I think there's custom designed ukulele straps as well.
Oh yeah, they make straps too.
They
Beautiful
come from this,
straps.
but we started carrying the flight ukuleles about. Has it been a year?
I think it's been a
Maybe
year.
a year now,
Mhm.
and people love them.
Oh yeah,
People love them. I mean,
wonderful instruments.
we carry also Oscar Schmidt,
Mhm.
Dean, and
Luna.
Luna ukuleles, all great brands,
Mhm.
all highly recommended. You know, we stand behind our products here, so you know if you're interested in it's a good time to stop in and see what we got. We've got a whole bunch in stock right now, so. Okay, hopefully that answers some of your questions, and we will go back to the music. Another song very similar to Jingle Bells in its
It's used.
content.
Yeah, it's used for both holidays again. In this one, I mean, they changed the lyrics a little bit when they use it for Christmas, but I think it was intended for Thanksgiving original. I'm not 100% sure.
Works for me. So this one again is going to use C, F, G, and D7.
And what song is this?
This is called
Over the river and through the woods. To grandmother's house we go.
and then I'll talk about it after we do the song.
Okay.
My personal experience.
Is one going to call out the chords on this again?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm ready enough.
What speed are you gonna go?
Oh, super fast. Over the river, and through the woods. No. Okay, nice and easy.
C is our first chord.
And you count it in?
Oh, okay.
You'd like to count. Well, you didn't count. You just tapped.
I was feeling out the rhythm.
Oh.
Let me sec. 1, 2, here we go. C.
Over the river and through the woods, to grandmother's house we go. The horse knows the way to carry the sleigh through the white and drifted snow. Over the river and through the woods, oh how the wind does blow. It stings the toes and bites the nose. Over the ground we go. Over the river and through the woods.
F, C.
Play. Oh, hear the bells ring. Ring on the ding. Hooray for Thanksgiving Day. It's a Thanksgiving. Over the river and through the woods. True, my best apple gray. Spring over the ground like a hunting hound, for it is Thanksgiving Day. I think this was written for Thanksgiving.
I think so.
Yeah, it says
But
Thanksgiving
a lot of
twice.
times you see versions of it that say Christmas Day instead
Mhm.
of Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, this is true. So the cool thing is, and I've said this before, it's like Justin just sent me a text.
Oh, yeah.
I've said this before that I don't know what I was going to say. Okay.
Should I give him a hand?
Yeah, you can go give him a hand. Over the river and through the woods, right? We need help up in the front store, so Robin's temporarily leaving us. Hopefully she's back soon. So over the river and through the woods, it was funny because when I was growing up, I actually, to go to my grandmother's house for Thanksgiving, we would go over the river and to the other side of town. There was plenty of trees in Janesville, so you know, in a sense, we went over the river and through the woods to get there. The sad thing is, this year I talked to my mother, who is the grandmother of my children, and I'm like, "What about Thanksgiving?" She goes, "No."
We're not getting together. But you know, that's where we're at this year. I think you all probably know that. So that, you know, that it's going to be a different holiday this year. It doesn't mean that you can't, you know, stream just like we're doing right now. And we've talked about doing that, like having our family do sort of like a group Zoom thing where we can sort of get together. And who knows, maybe I'll even take out my ukulele and play this song for them. So again, as far as this goes, it's nice and simple to just, you can break it down in this simple way, you know, just playing straight down. Over the river and through the woods, to grandmother's house we go. And you can see how I'm making that switch of those fingers, going from that C to the F to the G. And again, this just takes the practice. You know, one thing that we didn't talk about is there are other ways. You obviously, when we're playing chords, we're playing these combination of strings, but what you can do is you can play the individual notes as well. So if I wanted to play like Jingle Bells in a very simple way, just single notes. Jingle bells, jingle. So there are other ways to play songs, but of course it's a little bit. Oh, look who's back!
Hello.
So welcome back. We talked a lot about you when you were gone.
Oh, I'm sure.
Don't comment on that.
I'll be reading the comments after.
Ah, yes, we will. So, yeah, Over the River and Through the Woods, good song. You know, I think my grandmother was a school teacher, and she used to sing this one because they pretty much, you know, when you teach second grade, it's got to be the nice, simple, homey songs.
Okay.
So, now we should move on to the next song, which.
This is a fun one.
So once again, you know, in the past when we've done Thanksgiving Uke Circle, other than Jingle Bells and Over the River and Through the Woods, it's really tough to come up with Thanksgiving songs.
There's a very limited amount of them, yes.
There is a Thanksgiving song that we've done by Johnny Cash.
Thanksgiving Prayer.
It's called the Thanksgiving, yeah. And it's a cool one, you know, take your time, go
nice
look it up
slow
on
and mellow.
YouTube or something. It's a very sentimental song, but I don't think that people sit around the turkey and be like, hey, let's sing that Johnny Cash song. Although there's probably some.
I mean, I'm sure, yeah, to each their own.
There's some out there. So anyways, what we did, actually, I suppose I should take the blame because I think I came up with the idea.
You did. This is
that
an
it's like, well, how can we find another song for Thanksgiving? So of course we've all been to parties or weddings or gatherings with the DJ, and it always comes out with that chicken dance. But you don't eat chicken at Thanksgiving, so we changed it to the turkey dance. And this, you can play this nice and simple, and this would be a good one
two chords
for practicing, because it'd just be that C and the G back and forth, right? C, C. And again. This is a great one, and again, to just sort of get a feeling for a song, right? Because you got that. You can almost hear. And I'm doing a combination of downs and ups here. Now,
obviously we were playing pretty at a good steady pace. You know, and then when we did this at Uke Circles before with actual people here other than our wonderful videographer. Hi Dawn, by the way. Big shout out to Dawn for helping us out today. We just made everybody gobble. Gobble, 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 I know it's.
I love it. It's great.
But music is fun. That's what music should be about. Is
Exactly.
you know, music in all its forms really ties thought and emotion together. You know, and I've said this before about ukulele. I don't think you can make a ukulele sound sad too easy. They're just a fun sounding instrument. I mean, generally when I teach and I'm trying to discuss the difference between major and minor chords usually sound happy and minor chords usually sound sad, you know? But even that A minor
Still has a little bit of pep to it.
Yay!
And that's all in the voicing of the instrument too.
Right.
You play an instrument on a piano, like on the low end, it'd be like boom. Sound really kind of spooky.
So, that's good. And again, if you have any questions, just pop in and they'll be relayed to us. Where are we at time-wise? We've got 16 minutes to go, so...
Are you ready for this one?
No, but whatever.
Do you remember the chord progression?
No, not really. That was the verse.
No, it's the chorus.
Oh, well then it's the same. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is exactly the same.
I thought there was a different chord.
No.
Okay.
So, again, once again, met up with the challenge of like, oh my gosh, because, you know, usually a couple of days before Uke Circle, Robin and I sit down together and go, what are we going to do? Oh, I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? And so, you know.
Exactly.
But somehow, in all the great debate, we always stumble upon the right stuff. Well, anyways, back to the whole beginning of the story, which is that there just weren't enough Thanksgiving songs. What are we going to do? So somebody around here challenged me to actually write a Thanksgiving song. And so I did.
So this is an Ed original.
Yes, this one, and I think there is an old recording of it somewhere as well on our Facebook site, so you can go back and see that too. Mm-hmm. But, you know, since we're live, why not perform it today? Right from 2475 Milton Avenue, Janesville, Napton Music Notes, you know. We were going to do it on the roof like the Beatles did their thing, but it's just too cold today, so... So, so this song is called The Quirky Turkey, and it's a story about a turkey who doesn't want to get eaten for Thanksgiving. I mean, who would, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do turkeys know? You're like, uh-oh.
That's a...
Except for, you know, the two
question
that every year get pardoned by the president, which is a tradition.
Oh, yeah.
And they get to go live on a farm.
And live out their turkey lives.
I guess. What turkeys' lives are.
Very simple lives.
Yeah. Sometimes that would be nice when I think about it. You know, just walk around the yard and eat and talk to the other turkeys. What's up? Okay. Enough frivolity. So.
Are you gonna put the chord progression up on the board?
Oh.
Or do you want me to write it up there?
Yeah. I guess.
You guess.
Yeah, so it goes C.
Okay, hold on. I'm getting there. Can I erase these chord charts? Do we need these still?
Need to do a zoom in there quick so you can.
We're going to be using these 3 top chords here. So maybe I can just erase these bottom 2 and then write the progression down here. Yeah, that'll work. I'm not writing the chord progression. Ooh. And it starts with C, right?
Yeah, and I'm trying to get the numbers too.
Is that 4?
And then 3 on F.
That'd be 4.
4, sure.
We play it evenly.
C, G, C.
Yep, so 4C, 2G, and then C,
For 4.
4.
Thanks.
Repeat. So this little symbol right here means to go back to the beginning and play it over again. It's the
Again?
same progression for the whole song.
Yes, and the chorus and the verses use the same pattern. Okay.
Okey-dokey. Here we go.
And actually, we don't start with the chorus.
No?
No, because, right,
Oh,
if I remember? Yes, that is
Okay.
correct. We start
It's
with
your
the
song.
first one.
you wrote it.
I did. Sometimes I regret that. La, la, okay. La, la, la. Thanksgiving was coming and the turkey had a plan to keep himself out of the frying pan. He sang, I'm a quirky turkey and you won't eat me. I dance and I sing and I'm so funny. Verse 2. He ran around the barnyard going oink oink moo. This is something that a turkey shouldn't do. He sang, I'm a quirky turkey and you won't eat me. I dance and I sing and I'm so funny. Verse 3. He jumped upon a horse and he went for a ride. He asked the little lamb to be his bride. He sang, I'm a quirky turkey and you won't eat me. I dance and I sing and I'm so funny. Verse 4. He shuffled to the left and he shimmied to the right. He ran around in circles through the cold dark night. He sang, I'm a quirky turkey and you won't eat me. I dance and I sing and I'm so funny. And now the sad part. Thanksgiving came and went and the turkey's still here. He said, I guess I'll be around for another year. Woo!
Yay!
I'm a quirky turkey and you didn't eat me. I dance and I sing and I'm so funny. Well, who knows? Maybe someday some children's show will call me up and be like, hey, can we buy your song?
Hey, you never know. Never know.
But, you know, I tried to make it fun, so,
Fun and easy.
and I was thinking, you know, what would a turkey do to keep from getting on the Thanksgiving table? Well, he just act just like me.
Yep.
I dance, I sing, I'm so funny. Well, I don't really dance that well, but we won't talk about how I appeared in that one.
Duran Duran video.
Shh, don't say that. Yes, so,
If you want to see that, that's in Ed's bio on our website.
Okay, yeah. So, any more questions today? No.
Not yet.
I'm glad you guys, hopefully you tuned in, maybe you learned something. Certainly, you can stop in and ask us any questions. Come see
all the great stuff we got in here.
We recently
ukulele.
reorganized the store and we have tons of new product in, so if you guys are ever interested,
Yep.
totally.
And there's a sale going on right now, I
Yep.
believe.
Yeah,
Yes,
and there
through
is
tomorrow there is a pre-holiday sale going on where a good portion of the store is 20% off.
that's 20% off on books and accessories,
Gift items.
that kind of stuff. It's a good time to start that Christmas shopping with
Oh,
only
yes.
41 days until Christmas. Ooh. And of course, certainly, unless something dramatic changes, we'll probably be doing a live stream for our Christmas ukulele circle, which
I don't think so, yeah.
the second Saturday in December, whatever that is, I want to say, well, whatever, you can,
The second Saturday of December.
you all have calendars out there, I hope. So yes, we recently reorganized the store. There's a whole bunch of new stuff in here, so great time to come in and at least look around, see what we've done.
Yeah.
Whole bunch of stuff. Robin did actually pull out some
Oh, yes,
books
I
that
did.
she can show you, some uke books, some
Some
great new stuff that's in
New
here.
Stuff that came in, so not really holiday related, but we got this new one that's pretty cool. Top Hits of 2020. Got a variety of different artists in here with a whole bunch of songs. It's a really cool one, and it's got the melody lines, so you can see like the notes, and then you can also see the chords with the chord charts and where it would be played with the melody. And these are pretty similar in how they're formatted, but Christmas. We have plenty of new Christmas ukulele books. We got Christmas melodies. That's got the melody, the tab, the lyrics, and the chords, so that's a good one. 100 Christmas Carols, so plenty of songs to play. A whole bunch of them. It's a nice thick one. And 3-chord Christmas carols for the ukulele. So this one, you can play 30 songs with just 3 chords. Many of which are the ones that we learned today. Yeah.
Do you find the 3-chord would be better for beginners?
Yes. The less chords you have, the more you can focus on just a few at a time. So that's going to be easier to kind of get just a few down at a time, break it down so that you're not overwhelmed by a song that's got 20 different chords.
Right, and another thing, and again, I mean, I've mentioned this earlier, the familiarity. My tongue is a little tight. In other words, how well you know a song.
Yeah.
Is a very helpful thing. I mean, we can sit and, I tell this to my students all the time, is if you're just sitting there practicing C, F, G, it gets a little boring. So if you have a song that you're familiar with, being able to make those switching from one chord to another really increases your desire to learn and go forward. So instead of just practicing, obviously it's important to practice the chord changes, because the more you do that, the sooner it becomes automatic, the more fluent and able you are to play ukulele or any instrument for that matter.
And the more songs you can find that use like the same chords, for example. If you find a few different songs that use the same chords, then you're playing them in a different context and you're getting more practice on those same few chords.
And if you really want to make the argument, if you really learn about 4 chords, there are a billion songs you can play. You may not be playing in the same key as the original artist, but you can transpose, which is, again, a whole
Music
other
theory.
discussion that we aren't going to get into today. But you
There are
can.
tools out there that can transpose
yep.
stuff for you. And,
But I mean, C, F, and G, I don't know how many, it's Hey Jude, very famous song. Hey Jude, make it bad, take a sad song and make it better, remember to learn. As for an example, I mean, it just, how many millions of records did the Beatles sell playing 3 chords? So, I mean...
But it's the way they played those 3 chords
Well,
that made them theirs.
Yep, Hey Jude, Quirky Turkey, second.
Yes.
The greatest songs of all time. Or maybe Beethoven's up there somewhere. I'm a Quirky Turkey. Well, I think we're almost out of time, so thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
Certainly stop in and see us this holiday season. All kinds of surprises in the store. And I'm here too.
As am I.
And Robin. Certainly, for all of your holiday shopping, got a lot of great ideas here for you. We're happy to help with that. Certainly, we do private lessons if you're ever interested in that, which at this time we are doing virtual, but we are also doing in person in a socially distanced studio, wearing masks and shields. So
and washing our hands before and after the lesson, sanitizing everything.
Right, and we're doing all the right kind of things to keep our store clean constantly. So
as many precautions as we can.
And yes, also one more thing, special thank you to Dawn for helping us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn.
You're so welcome.
Who isn't even going to turn the camera around so that
Not
you
a
can see
chance.
her. All right, guys, thank you, and
Thank
we'll
you.
see you hopefully in December. All right, tune
Happy
in.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.